Oh, hi there. I'm Elvis. I'm a filmmaker and a wannabe photographer. Over the last couple of years, I've managed to get a couple of photo shoots done, but it's always been hard to find somebody to work with regularly. I find that no matter how far I get ahead on one photo shoot, if I don't have the practice, I just don't know what I'm doing the next time. So what I'm attempting to do over the course of the next couple of weeks is do at least one photo shoot every week using the same models, trying different concepts, different lighting techniques, to try to become a better photographer. So in today's episode, we're going for a classic black and white film noir kind of look. We've got a smoke machine, we're going with 3-point lighting setup, and I'm going to be using flashes for not the first time, but hopefully the first time successfully, because I've had some nightmare situations in the past. I've got a Fresnel as my key light, and it's a little, frankly, too wide for what I was hoping to do. Why am I using Fresnel? Well, it's going to have a nice hard shadow to it and hopefully have a little bit of a fall off. So what we're trying to do with the second look is to come up with a sort of backlight, rim light kind of effect where we can see the outline, we can see her legs and her hair, but not really the details of the face. Keep her mysterious and in the shadows. How we're doing that is we're doing it with two lights from behind. So they're off to the side on the left and right, and they're up quite high. One of the reasons I put the lights high is to hopefully come down and shine across her legs, and we'll see how that looks. The third look we're going for is kind of a cool jazz singer look. So we've got this great classic microphone, and what I'm hoping to do is get something that looks a little like this image, that and Jennifer Connelly in Dark City. So we're using a ground fogger machine, which is just like a Halloween store fogger. The interesting thing about this third setup is now I've had to add in another light. So I scrapped the flashes because the flashes just were, I have a cord that's probably 10-15 feet. In the end, it keeps getting in the way. I just don't have the A23 battery or 23A. I don't know what I need for my remote flash head. But whatever it is, I don't have it. So I just went with a nice standard tungsten bulb. And actually, what I noticed was from the angle I got it to give her a nice hair light on this side of her head, it was missing her legs, and I really wanted to get a nice outline across her right hip, and that really wasn't coming through. I was losing her legs a little bit. So what we did is I threw another tungsten light down on the ground behind her and fired that directly at her legs and put a bit of a flag so it wasn't hitting the floor. Trying to keep as much darkness in the dark areas, because in the end, I'd rather not have to do any Photoshop work if possible. I mean, ideally I'll take it into Lightroom, maybe bump the contrast up and down, but I really don't want to be painting things out. And every time I've done a photo shoot, I've had to paint out a ton of stuff, and it's always frustrating. And part of my whole reason for doing this is to try to learn to do as much in camera as possible. Now, this is week one, probably not going to be very successful. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I get better at this. So I just finished editing the photos, and what I learned from this first setup is that the Fresnel was not the worst way to go, but I should have controlled it a little better. Even at its narrowest setting, it had quite a wide throw, and I could have narrowed it down with barn doors, but that would have left probably a hard line across the forehead or the chin, and that's not what I was looking to do. So I ended up just keeping it wide and low so that it wouldn't compete with the hair light and the backlight. How I could have done this better, probably something I realized 2 hours after we were finished shooting. If I had made a snoot of some kind out of aluminum foil or black wrap to just narrow it down so it was just around the face. The ideal thing would have been to use a flash with a grid, honeycomb grid, and I just don't have one of those, so this was kind of trying to get the right look using not necessarily the right tools. With the second setup, I was pretty happy with how things turned out. The main thing that I would have liked to change was that I had the backlight a little bit too bright so that her arm and her legs were a little bit white, but that was a quick fix in Lightroom, so not too bad. Another thing that I could have done differently, there were a couple of cables in the background on the floor, and I ended up having to vignette them out in Lightroom, and that's kind of annoying, and I prefer not to do that next time. Setup number 3 came out pretty close to what I was hoping for. I didn't really have to do too much work in Lightroom to get those pictures to where I wanted them to be. The only thing I really had to adjust was the outline across her leg and on her hip. It just wasn't bright enough compared to the contrast of all the other lights. So yeah, I just had to bring that up, and I'm pretty happy with the results. If you're watching this, let me know what you think.